I have a mystery guest and she's trying to sneak in right now. She's, hey! We're gonna have some playtime and y'all are gonna hang out. So Marcy and I had a little bit of fun. I've got these nice little acacia wood bowls from Amazon, and we filled them up with resin and some miscellaneous items. We have some stones here, itty bitty starfish. I mean, look at my size of my thumb. These things are tiny. Little sand dollars, itty bitty shells. These are some pre-made, I don't know if you can see them, little sharks and turtles. I had a little resin mold that I filled up with some black resin. And then I've got some black sand and some regular tan sand that we also used. And I just pulled out all the glitters. Got some fun little dragon glitters there. I'm not sure we hit this stash too much there. And some of my other glitters, as well as some assorted colors. So we were just like, we were having a fun day. So Marcy and I were going to do a class down in Seguin, and she came up in a day early. And you know, what do two artists do when they have some little free time to kill? We play with some art. Anyway, we headed up to the studio. Not really a whole lot of plans in motion. It's more like, you know, let's see what we got here that we can mess around with. And I remember this stash of a bunch of these little acacia bowls that I had on hand, and just little knickknacks and stuff that we can play with. So we picked a bunch of ocean-like colors. These colors work really good together, whether you're doing an ocean pour, ocean-related things. They all worked well together. So it was a pretty safe project for us. And we just went after it. It was interesting to see how Marcy handles projects versus I handle projects, just curiosity-wise. Her and I work very similar together in a lot of aspects because she's what I would consider a very fast artist. She gets in there, gets the job done, and gets out and goes on to the next piece. I work very similar to that, except for certain projects that, you know, the medium is a little bit slower. Like, for example, when I work with my dragons, obviously it's a slower process. But for the most part, I mean, like my resin pours and acrylic pours and things like that, even a lot of alcoholic projects, we work very similar, very fast, get in there, get out. So anyway, she handled sand a little bit differently than I did. She actually would layer it up and then pour some resin over top of it, whereas I made a mixture in my cup, and it was almost like a real thick putty-like. I would add resin into it, mix it up, add a little bit more, mix it up, but I wanted it to be a thick putty when it came out, and applied that. So we both did some little beachy ones, and then we both started playing with colors. You saw we were making some puddles in there, and then swirling the cup around. So let me describe that to you if I can. What we would do is we get the colors out, and we make like three or possibly 4 little puddles. You don't do a whole lot of it. Then you torch it up real quick, just to get rid of the air bubbles, and then you tilt it pretty dramatically on one side, and then you slowly turn this thing around in a circle, and then you go back to the starting point, and you continue until you like how the swirl, you end up creating this little swirl in the middle, and you continue until you like how that swirl lays out, and very gently kind of level it out. And most of the time, that little swirl that you end up with, you're really happy with it. But we had also, I'm doing the swirl right there, we would also come through with the stick occasionally and manipulate it a little bit more with a skewer, just to create some almost like marbling look to it. So that was kind of fun too. And then she saw where I was messing around with more, and she started messing around with some more of these little color swirls as well. So it was fun to be able to, you know, inspire each other on some projects. But these little bowls here, I mean, they work great for Christmas presents. I'm going to have a bunch on my website, and that website's coming up soon because Christmas is around the corner. But also, if you want to work on a project your own self, it's a great little like little ring bowl or something like that. I wouldn't encourage you to use it for food, mainly because these are a lot of color coats that are on the surface. And you know me, I like to be safe. So if they were set out for food, I would definitely do a clear coat of resin over it, and maybe even go up the sides dramatically. So keep that in mind. And also, if you got little bumps and stuff like that, like you can see the little seashells and, you know, stars and stuff like that, applying a clear flood coat over that so it's a nice level surface is a lot more easier to deal with. You know, it's just as far as being able to use the piece. But we had so much stinking fun, and we were giggling up a storm and just kind of relaxing, catching up and such. So the colors we ended up picking out, we picked out a lot of shimmery colors, like Thornton Shimmer, the Sea Foam, and then there was an interference blue in there, but we also had a blue dye in there just to bring in some richness of color. And then, of course, you know, some Just Resin white to finish off that ocean kind of piece to it. Of course, I used my Stone Coat Art Coat resin for these little trays. You want to see the final results? Let's bring it in. These are going to be used for ring bowls anyway, so no food going there. If your items are meant for food, like in any way, shape, or form, do one more flood coat of either Art Coat or the regular Stone Coat Countertops formula, and you should be fine, because then it'll be okay for food contact sake. But otherwise, if it's just for artwork or to put jewelry on, you should be good, because the color does change the resin properties a little bit, and it takes away that food safe bit. But you guys know me, I want everybody to be safe. So that was a fun project that Marcy and I got to work on. A little bonus afternoon fun. There you go.